Thank you for taking the time to join us for this webinar, the Washington State Long-Term Services and Supports Act, What You Need to Know. My name is Ron Kirkpatrick, and I'm the president of LBG Advisors. We're an employee benefits consultant firm in Washington State and a member of a national organization called Benefits Partners. It is important to note that LBG Advisors is not engaged in the practice of law, nor is it licensed to do so. The presentation is not intended as a legal or tax presentation, nor may it be relied upon by any taxpayer for the purposes of avoiding any tax penalties. What is the Washington State Long-Term Services and Supports Act, rebranded as the Washington CARES Fund? The Washington State Long-Term Services and Supports Act was recently signed into law and modified by a follow-up bill, and it created a new long-term care benefit run by the state of Washington and funded by a payroll tax on all Washington State W-2 paid employees. The tax will start on all W-2 based income for all individuals working in Washington State on January 1st, 2022. There is no cap or end date on the tax. The rate can be adjusted in future years if it is found that it is not generating enough revenue to fund the state benefit. Employers do not pay this tax, individual employees do. Beginning in January 2025, each person who is eligible to receive the benefit provided by the state can access services and supports costing up to $36,500 or $100 a day, indexed for inflation. More information can be found on the state's website, www.wacaresfund.wa.gov. Please note the eligibility and vesting information found on the site. Contribution requirements. To qualify for benefits from the Washington CARES Fund, you must have worked and contributed to the fund for at least 10 years at any point in your life without a break of 5 or more years within those 10 years. Or 3 of the last 6 years at the time you apply for the benefit, and at least 500 hours per year during those years. For more information on the Washington CARES Fund premiums, please see the following RCWs. How will the LTSSA tax affect me? You will pay 0.58% tax on your W-2 payroll starting January 2022 unless you opt out and receive approval for opt-out from ESD. More on that later. The rate may be increased in future years. We provided a chart at the bottom with a couple different compensation levels and how much that translates to in the tax. How do I opt out of the state tax? Individuals must purchase a qualifying private long-term care policy by November 1st, 2021. This is a key date to note. And you can find more information on this at the wacaresfund.wa.private-insurance. Exemptions are permanent. You must keep proof of your exemption for current and future employers. Currently, the state has only defined a qualifying private long-term care insurance policy as RCW 48.83.020. Employment Security Department, or ESD, mentioned earlier, is developing the process to apply for exemptions and is in charge of rulemaking. After purchasing a private policy, individuals must provide a personal attestation to their employer between October 1st, 2021 and December 31st of 2022. To apply for an exemption, you must apply and be approved for that exemption by the Employment Security Department, ESD. You must be at least 18 years of age, and you must purchase a qualifying private long-term care insurance plan before November 1st, 2021. Long-term care insurance is currently only defined in RCW 48.83.020. At this point, ESD has not defined a minimum amount of coverage that must be purchased. They may change that in the future, so we suggest following the ESD's rulemaking page and going there often to see if anything changes in that area. Exemptions are for life once granted. That means you'll never have access to the Washington CARES Fund benefit, which is currently $36,500. But you also won't end up paying a tax upon approval and notification of your employer. Currently, rules are being worked out by the Employment Security Department, ESD, but as of 6/11/2021, the proposed rule suggests the following process. There may be a form provided to individuals created by ESD to attest to having private qualifying coverage, but it's not available as of this taping of this webinar. Employers will send any form or attestation to the Employment Security Department, and the ESD will then provide approval notice back to the individual employee of approval of opt-out or denial of opt-out with an appeals process. Employees then must provide that notice back to their employer of approval of opt-out. Employers will then stop assessing the tax, but only as of the start of the next quarter. Any taxes that had been assessed prior to that point, prior to the approval, are not refundable. Opting out individuals are permanently excluded from the state's plan. Overall, this is a once in your working career option to opt out of the new state plan. The ESD will be managing this opt-out process. Overall, long-term care insurance policies help cover your costs of care that you need when you have a chronic medical condition, a disability, or disorder that requires help with activities of daily living. Most policies reimburse you for the care given in a variety of places, such as your home, a nursing home, or an assisted living facility. We're recommending that each person assess their own personal situation and decide how much long-term care insurance they should be purchasing for this future liability in their life. It becomes much more expensive the older you are, and so we want everyone to look at this carefully and determine what's best for their situation. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this short informational video, and please follow up with us directly if you have any questions at lbgadvisors.com. Thank you.